Imagine a really powerful dude. You're probably thinking of some jacked up dude, right? Well, you'd be surprised to learn about Tsuyoshi, a man who has attracted the attention of the Chinese government with his martial arts ability. The night shift worker is super strong, and no one knows why. Tsuyoshi meets Inosuke, who is begging to become his disciple. In return, he helps Tsuyoshi prepare for his entrance exam at an art school. Things get complicated when Tsuyoshi learns that he has been betrayed by the baddie he was crushing on. Watch until the end to see him get serious and show a taste of his true strength. The exciting final match of the All Japan University Karate Championships is underway. Two warriors are prepared for battle. Hoshizaki Inosuke is known as the famous Bone Crusher, a man who is the favorite of the crowd and a champion destined to win. Inosuke lost a decisive battle last year, and whether he learned from his failures. Inosuke's opponent throws a booming kick, which he blocks with his knee, delivering a bone-shattering sensation. The battle ended with an aerial kick to the man's head, knocking him out instantly. Inosuke won the battle with a single hit, shocking the crowd with his strength. While the spectators are impressed, Inosuke himself is the most depressed man on the planet, even after this astounding achievement. This is because he couldn't face the opponent he was looking for. A man known as Yumioka Teru had always been Inosuke's rival. He's the one who kicked his butt and defeated Inosuke last year. Inosuke wanted his revenge match, but he got an easy victory with little to no satisfaction. Teru is rumored to have stopped practicing karate, bewildering as that sounds. After his battle, a melancholic Inosuke has the face of a man facing extreme suffering. The dude looks like his parents got assassinated or something. Inosuke has fought against Teru many times, facing defeat and claiming victory. However, Inosuke had to exhaust himself in each of those battles, or Teru would steal the victory from him. These good-for-nothing fighting maniacs trained so hard that they realized no one had been a match for them anymore. Teru's existence helped Inosuke surpass his training. Teru was the ideal fighter that Inosuke chased after. Despite calling each other the best of their rivals, Inosuke was cruelly left with a lack of satisfaction, as Teru failed to show up. Seeking answers, Inosuke decided to visit Teru at his apartment, and asked him to discuss the situation. Teru hadn't seen him since their previous tournament, so he allowed him to come inside. When Inosuke opened the apartment, he saw a nerd looking at the computer screen. A furious Inosuke questioned why Teru failed to appear at the martial arts tournament. Teru realized that Inosuke had won the tournament. Inosuke became even more frustrated, and stated that such a victory had no meaning for him. Teru happily decides to entertain Inosuke as he turns around, revealing the fattest martial artist I have ever seen with my innocent eyes. He's like a redditor on fat steroids, a master of disaster, a dweeb pro-max, a goon, a PDF file degenerate with no social life. In short, he had become Inosuke's worst nightmare. He couldn't even recognize his dear old friend, as Teru had not been Teru anymore. He was someone else, someone who didn't care about fighting or winning at all. Inosuke's face is grim, as Teru harshly states that he quit martial arts months ago, after he suffered a defeat against a particular opponent. A man that outclasses them on every level, despite their training. A man who could be classified as a monster in every word. A curious Inosuke questions the kind of person he is talking about. Teru refuses to elaborate, and tells him to leave because he's a degenerate who wants to enjoy his favorite e-girls livestream like some of you. The scene switches to a store where two employees are on duty. Tsuyoshi handles the employees, while his cute assistant requests to eat more nuggets. Ching is doing this on purpose, and Tsuyoshi isn't stupid. After handling a customer who bought some cigarettes, Tsuyoshi comments that the man frequents the store at the same hour, purchasing the same thing. Like the minimum wage employees they are, Ching calls him Mr. Lonely Drinker to add some fun. Tsuyoshi is asked to restock the shelves, and he decides to entertain Ching's request. Suddenly, he hears customers infuriated that no one is at the cash register. Tsuyoshi wonders where Ching went, and he won't be surprised that she's happily enjoying a cheeseburger. Tsuyoshi immediately gets to his customers, one of whom happens to be Inosuke's intimidating stature. The man angrily sets his beer on the counter like the JoJo character he is, and questions if the glasses boy is indeed Kawabata Tsuyoshi. Tsuyoshi confusingly confirms his identity, while Inosuke refuses to take his eyes off him. Before this encounter, Teru had told Inosuke about Tsuyoshi, and even stated that Tsuyoshi was someone that Inosuke would never be able to beat, no matter how much he trained. At the time, Inosuke took his words as a challenge, and immediately asked for Tsuyoshi's coordinates. Teru told him he worked at the convenience store, which is how he got here. Inosuke stares at the frail little boy, and realizes he just got pranked. Depressed, the man leaves the convenience store in a sad mood, disappointed yet again. Einosuke sits at the bench outside the store, thinking that he got played like a damn fiddle to such a lame trick. He knows that a frail boy, such as Tsuyoshi, could never be a martial arts practitioner. That's until Einosuke heard the ramblings of customers outside. Ching returned to Tsuyoshi and informed him that the blonde soy boy had just stolen something. Ching took the initiative to call the police at once, while Tsuyoshi tried to stop them. Before they left, Tsuyoshi politely requested they empty their pockets, but in return, the blonde tried to intimidate him and even admitted stealing the item. Einosuke is eavesdropping on this conversation and thinks Tsuyoshi should let it go instead of getting beaten up. Tsuyoshi refuses to back down and tells the blonde punk not to shoplift. The blonde feels that violence is the answer to this situation, so he tries to attack Tsuyoshi. Einosuke is about to step up to save the derpy-looking kid he thought of as a weakling. To his absolute surprise, he sees Tsuyoshi effortlessly dismantle the blonde punk in the flash of a second. Einosuke can't even compute what happened with the technique used. He questions what truly happened in those mere moments. As the man wailed on the ground like a baby, his friends tried to attack Tsuyoshi. Tsuyoshi quickly countered every single one of them, knocking them left and right. For his ultimate move, the man delivered the Nut Breaker 4000, followed by the Balls Breaker 99. Einosuke is stunned that Tsuyoshi hit this dude twice with his family jewels. And if that wasn't enough, Tsuyoshi ruthlessly ended the battle with a bloodline-ending punch from the Heian era. Einosuke stood speechless. One derpy-looking convenience store employee had just defeated these fools without a sweat. Tsuyoshi delivers the most complex line in all of manga, stating that he won't start a fight, but he will undoubtedly be the one to end them if they involve him. Einosuke is experiencing a mental breakdown, analyzing Tsuyoshi's smooth movements. He wonders if Tsuyoshi specializes in Aikido, or perhaps Kung Fu. Not only that, he thinks of Tsuyoshi as a monster for removing the most essential parts of a man. Teru's words are now revealed. Einosuke is certain that this is the man who beat his long-lost rival so badly that he did a 180 and dropped martial arts. Tsuyoshi sighs at the thought of returning to his shift. The police also arrive during this time. Einosuke stops Tsuyoshi, calling for his attention as he requests that he fight him. Tsuyoshi agrees, but wants him to wait until his shift has a break. Tsuyoshi informs him about the conditions of their fight. The first rule is that he will only fight his opponents once and never again, and in a place that is inconspicuous to the public eye. The final rule is that, if they get curb stomped by him, they will never talk about his fighting ability to anyone. Einosuke accepts the conditions, not knowing the beating he will receive. The degenerate stream finally started as Teru enjoyed. Meanwhile, Einosuke was having a whole different situation going on. He wanted to become a fighter, which was his only goal in life, and he trained rigorously for the cause. Returning to Tsuyoshi, the time had finally arrived for his break. When Tsuyoshi came to their chosen location, Einosuke prepared his uniform to fight him. Tsuyoshi didn't share his passion, and reminded him of the rules never to fight again. He even mocked his opponent by stating that he would go easy on him to ensure Einosuke doesn't die. Tsuyoshi recommended that Einosuke give it his all, or else he would suffer the regret of never being able to fight him again. Einosuke emphasizes that he won't be going easy on his opponent either, and requests that Tsuyoshi give it his all to a martial artist who wants to do the same. Tsuyoshi accepts his terms as the match commences. The two fighters are a set distance apart. Einosuke has already assumed his stance, but Tsuyoshi seems full of openings. Einosuke wonders how far his karate will take him when fighting against Tsuyoshi's kung fu. The first thing he attempts to do is to narrow the gap between them. Tsuyoshi easily dodges Einosuke's advance, as a roundhouse kick puts him in no trouble. Einosuke reclaims his footing and throws a jab, yet another move Tsuyoshi calmly dodges, and then redirects. However, at that moment, Einosuke surprises Tsuyoshi by grabbing him by the head and thrusting a powerful knee kick into his abdomen. This attack ends up being a disadvantage for Einosuke as Tsuyoshi locks his body and traps him to the ground. Einosuke throws another kick that Tsuyoshi evades with a death glare on his face. Having returned to his original position, Einosuke is stunned that Tsuyoshi has been able to predict all his attacks so far. So far, he has confirmed that Tsuyoshi is a force to be reckoned with. He asks if Tsuyoshi specializes in Chinese martial arts, to which Tsuyoshi vaguely confirms, and praises Ainasuke's skills. Ainasuke properly introduces himself as the recent winner of the All Japan Karate Championships. Tsuyoshi doesn't think much of it, in fact, and reacts normally. Ainasuke questions him about a man named Yumioka Teru, the one he defeated, who is on the same level as him in martial arts. Tsuyoshi is forgetful of his existence at first, but then remembers the person he was talking about. When Ainasuke asks Tsuyoshi about his skill level, Tsuyoshi calmly replies that the man is just above average. Ainasuke is shocked that someone like Teru wasn't even significant enough to be remembered by him. Ainasuke is starting to understand Teru's words when he means just how powerful Tsuyoshi's existence is. He remembers Teru's motivation and encouragement in their final match last year. Ainasuke wanted to defeat Teru no matter what. It was all that he cared about, so he trained night and day, ensuring that no matter what happened, he would win. After his rigorous training session, Ainasuke unlocked a new level of power. Working hard was just the norm for both Ainasuke and his rival. And now, Teru has been reduced to a fat blob degenerate, while Ainasuke remains a gigachad, revealing his hardened Olympic body. Tsuyoshi is confident that Ainasuke will be incapable of landing a hit on him in this battle. Ainasuke takes him up on the challenge as he charges with a flurry of kicks. Tsuyoshi dodges every single one. Ainasuke forces Tsuyoshi into the corner, who steps on the sand and, for some reason, is more surprised than his fearsome opponent. Ainasuke uses this opportunity to capitalize on karate's most critical aspect. It is a devastating punch honed by countless hours of training to make them no different from rocks. The angular motion required to deliver a punch is crucial for determining a solid attack. By eliminating any loose ends of his technique, Ainasuke became powerful enough to break boulders with his fists. He uses the same attack against Tsuyoshi, who easily blocks the punch with one hand, sending reverberations throughout his body from the recoil. Ainasuke's entire arm is shattered as a result, as it was no different than hitting an unbreakable wall. While he's stunned, Tsuyoshi lands a few punches on his body and finishes the battle with his family obliteration 8000 punch. Ainasuke collapses, while Tsuyoshi reminds him of his words that he will be the one to finish any and all battles brought against him. With the battle concluded, Tsuyoshi returns to the store, leaving Ainasuke absolutely traumatized from the experience. Ching finds Tsuyoshi and takes him away. The following day, Tsuyoshi wakes up in his usual routine. He's actually a 22-year-old part-time worker with no hobbies. His only mark of recognition was at the convenience store. The problem is that Tsuyoshi can't catch a break from fighting strong opponents. They follow him wherever he goes, but he has yet to lose even a single fight against them. Tsuyoshi believes there is a reason for that, too, and approaches a bunch of boomers with one foot in their graves. Tsuyoshi's day starts off at the same park. The elderly people thank him for training him and allowing their bodies to recover. Tsuyoshi does a quick exercise teaching these people and plays his classical music before waiting at the same store where he works. After getting his coffee, Tsuyoshi heads home peacefully. He tries really hard to enjoy the normalcy of life but, unfortunately, keeps getting dragged into battles. A man who looks more like a beggar than a fighter thinks he's the top dog around the area. He declares that he wants to defeat Tsuyoshi. The man charges and manages to destroy Tsuyoshi's bicycle in a single attack. He forces his hand on Tsuyoshi, who calmly misdirects his attack and delivers a nutcracker jab. His opponent gets one-shotted, while Tsuyoshi stares at him menacingly. Tsuyoshi has rotten luck getting into fights that he doesn't know about. The idiot he just defeated even bought him a new bike as compensation. Tsuyoshi shares a personal dream that he wishes to accomplish. He finds Tanaka already hard at work while he's painting. It is revealed that Tsuyoshi's one genuine desire is to become a painter. 3 people rent a room at a studio apartment so they can practice their painting skills. Sadu, Tanaka, and Tsuyoshi are such people. Tsuyoshi wants to redo his university entrance exam. Sadu, on the other hand, no longer aspires to become a painter by going through a university. Tsuyoshi claims that he doesn't want to fail the exam yet again and wants to try his hardest. The thing is, all 3 of these fools have failed numerous times, yet Tsuyoshi is hopeful he'll pass. After his painting session with the others, Tsuyoshi heads home for his night shift. Tsuyoshi reads Ching's messages and finds himself delighted. His happiness is short-lived, as another random dude is looking to brawl him. The man calls him a joke for having a tiny little body even after being named the most muscular man alive. Tsuyoshi claims that he never stated himself to be the strongest of anything. The man refuses to entertain Tsuyoshi's words and is about to release his jab. Tsuyoshi doesn't even give him the chance to react and basically defeats him with his signature move. Tsuyoshi arrives at the convenience store to find Ching. Tsuyoshi wants to make a poster for a new item. Ching is revealed to be a Chinese exchange student who wants to learn Japanese. Sharing many shifts together, Tsuyoshi is enthralled by her beauty as they have become good friends. Funnily enough, the manager spots the poster Tsuyoshi made for the store. It is safe to say that he found it embarrassing that Tsuyoshi wanted to become an artist with this level of skill involved. After his tiring shift at the store, Tsuyoshi readies himself to return home. The third opponent of the day arrives. A man who is a samurai wants to challenge Tsuyoshi's fighting ability. Tsuyoshi makes him agree to certain conditions so that his peace is never disrupted by the same man again. After the samurai agrees to his conditions, he prepares his blade to fight Tsuyoshi. His fancy little stick poses no trouble to the man, who leaves everyone groveling on the floor through his signature punch. Having defeated the samurai, Tsuyoshi plays his beats and heads home. He prefers drinking a cup of milk tea right before bed and looking at paintings to stir up his passion. Around 3 in the morning, Tsuyoshi feels tired enough to sleep. Unbeknownst to him, a confident man has been stalking him throughout the day. He has seen the outcome of all 3 of Tsuyoshi's battles. He defeated them mercilessly. This man is hellbent on discovering Tsuyoshi's secret. The scene switches to Ainasuke, who has suffered an incredible injury, shattering every bit of his arm. The doctor is bewildered enough to ask what happened to lead to this kind of event. Ainasuke vaguely made an excuse. The doctor emphasized that his arm not only broke but shattered, something he had never seen before. He tells Ainasuke that it will heal quickly, which is really impressive because such an injury probably takes years to recover. Ainasuke leaves with a compromised arm for life. He remembers the doctor's words while also remembering Tsuyoshi's indomitable strength. Ainasuke believes that there must exist a reason for Tsuyoshi's incredible strength. He is motivated to learn more about him. The dude activates the internet card and searches for whatever he can about Tsuyoshi on the internet. But he finds absolutely no records of Tsuyoshi's existence online, except for annoying advertisements that bug all of us. No record of Tsuyoshi's identity exists on the internet. So he decides to type in the words strongest martial artist, as if that's going to help with his search. Ainasuke discovers many articles with exciting hooks and wonders if all of the martial artists in the world have acknowledged Tsuyoshi's strength as the strongest. When he opens the website, however, it is revealed that it's just a generic plot for an NSFW video. An annoyed Ainasuke is frustrated with the internet's shenanigans and stops his research. He leaves the apartment and books a taxi at once. The scene switches to Teru, who is enjoying his favorite stream like the no-lifer that he is. Ainasuke races and barges into Teru's room. Teru's got the face of the incel as he turns around, seeing Ainasuke's annoying presence. Ainasuke confirms that he got his balls handed to him by the same guy. Teru wants to focus on his live stream, while Ainasuke keeps ranting and interrupting it. Teru misses the most essential part of the stream and grows furious. Ainasuke begs Teru to reveal more information about his opponent. Teru throws an uproarious fit. He hounds Ainasuke for ruining his live stream because he won't be able to replay it later. This fat flog calls Ainasuke a simpleton and tosses him out of the apartment without any explanation. Teru knows that Ainasuke got his arm broken by Tsuyoshi and recommends that he go to the one responsible for his answers. Ainasuke returns to the convenience store where he meets Tsuyoshi. Tsuyoshi greets him, just as surprised as the first time. Tsuyoshi cuts him off and tells Ainasuke that he's supposed to wait his turn before cutting through a line of customers. Ainasuke apologizes and waits his turn, ruining the imposing aura he worked hard for. Finally, it's Ainasuke's turn to buy something. Tsuyoshi calculates his expense, while Ainasuke is muddled to ask him the source of his strength. Ainasuke slams the counter and begs for an answer. Tsuyoshi doesn't get the hell he's talking about. Ainasuke begs to know more about Tsuyoshi, but the customers behind him are all being disturbed again. Ainasuke wants to maintain some level of contact with Tsuyoshi. Tsuyoshi rejects him again and again, but Ainasuke is adamant, as he believes he will never get a second chance if he fails here. Ainasuke claims that he'll wait for Tsuyoshi after work. Tsuyoshi tells him that he's being a bother and that he will call the police at this point. Ainasuke succumbs to desperation, telling Tsuyoshi that he really doesn't care what happens to him. Seeing his miserable state, Ching jokes around that this dude might be asking Tsuyoshi out for real. Ainasuke kneels and begs to become a disciple of Tsuyoshi, putting him right on the spot. Tsuyoshi can't handle it anymore and shares a pamphlet about the Taikai classes he teaches at the park. Inosuke finds what he needs and finally leaves. The following day, Inosuke stares at the pamphlet and thinks that Tsuyoshi is truly a kung fu martial artist. However, providing free classes even for him makes him a generous man. Inosuke has gained respect for Tsuyoshi because of his kind personality. He's hopeful to better himself for the future to come. Inosuke sprints to the park location. There, he finds many people already waiting for him. Inosuke wonders if these people are dedicated students of his. The elderly people greet the man, surprising him with their presence. Inosuke thinks that he should be open-minded about these people, instead of judging their appearances. Tsuyoshi arrives, and gets startled by Inosuke's flashy good morning greeting. The others don't know what is going on. Tsuyoshi welcomes Inosuke as one of their newest students. The training session finally begins with a few stretches. All of his students activate the Qigong posture, shocking Inosuke as the atmosphere tensed up quickly. Inosuke notes that Tsuyoshi's stance, in particular, is more rigid than the rest. Tsuyoshi transitions the training session to focus on forms. Inosuke had been waiting for this moment all this time. Tsuyoshi provides straightforward instructions and navigates through a bunch of different forms. The pace is relatively slow for Inosuke, who finds the experience confusing. Inosuke analyzes the context behind each form, questioning where one form begins and the other ends. Inosuke is sure about one thing: the style of martial arts they practice is compelling. His expectations are completely blown out of the water when Tsuyoshi concludes the training session. Inosuke can't even fathom how it's already over. Tsuyoshi is about to leave when Inosuke stops him, alarmed that the training session is finished. Inosuke asks if he can become just as strong as Tsuyoshi if he follows the same training regimen. He wants to join Tsuyoshi's personal training if he's doing something like that. Tsuyoshi claims that this is the level of Tai-Kai that he teaches to his students. Inosuke hears the mumbling of the elderly people, whom he thought to be Tai-Kai masters. The man is left utterly destroyed when he realizes these are just ordinary people with back problems. An entire month of Inosuke's training session with the other elderly folk has wrapped up. Inosuke has become accustomed to their flimsy demeanors and receives praise from them. Even though it looks like everything is going alright from the surface, Inosuke is questioning his existence, as he is wasting his time doing nothing. After a few days more practice, Inosuke reflects that even after attending Tsuyoshi's classes, he's experienced no change. He questions Tsuyoshi, who seems to ruthlessly turn him down without a second thought. Inosuke hurriedly chases after Tsuyoshi, wondering why he didn't stay for tea. Inosuke catches up to him even with Tsuyoshi's bike. Tsuyoshi doesn't want to waste his time, and tells him to just go away. Inosuke asks him a series of questions about how he learned Tai-Kai. Tsuyoshi plainly stated that he knew it at the park like the others, and became the teacher after the previous one left. Inosuke wonders if Tai-Kai is truly the secret to Tsuyoshi's fearsome strength. Inosuke asks if the Tai-Kai he teaches has stayed the same over the years. Tsuyoshi confirms that it has, while Inosuke asks if he could use the martial arts during combat training. Tsuyoshi tells him to stop because he's arrived at the studio where he paints with his friends. Sadu and Tanaka welcome him, surprising Inosuke. Inosuke introduces himself and asks for their introductions. Both of them reveal that they're just struggling artists who are finding it challenging to enter art school. Inosuke praises them and is pumped to look at their art skills. Inosuke has finally found himself a crutch to get closer to Tsuyoshi by force. When invited inside, Inosuke discovers that Tsuyoshi comes here to paint every day. His friends even allow Inosuke to paint anything he pleases. They all sit down to get to work. Inosuke sketched up an impressive drawing, shocking the rest. Even Tsuyoshi is utterly shocked that he's got these skills. Inosuke reveals that he used to sketch during his time at the university, implying that he went to an art school. The three idiots can't compute how there is a graduate of the art school standing before them, while they're just novices. When they look at Tsuyoshi's drawing instead, they see a deformity that looks nothing like a human, but rather some kind of character from SpongeBob. Tsuyoshi's sketching skills are terrible, for that matter. Inosuke asks if the three of them are trying to get into art school. Tsuyoshi taunts him for acting high and mighty for going to art school himself. Tsuyoshi claims that sketching has nothing to do with the skill of an artist, yet it is necessary to show off such a skill while getting into a university. Tsuyoshi seems lifeless for the first time, so Inosuke offers him the deal of a lifetime. He helps Tsuyoshi understand the basic fundamentals that are required to get better at sketching, allowing Tsuyoshi to improve his skills. Inosuke thinks it's only fair to teach Tsuyoshi when he's getting taught by him in return. Tsuyoshi struggles at first, but eventually begs Ainosuke to teach him to get better at art. Ainosuke thinks he's hit the jackpot and accepts. After their painting session, Tsuyoshi goes to work like he usually does. Before leaving, Tsuyoshi apologizes to Ainosuke for misjudging his character and being so rude. Ainosuke thinks that he should be the one to thank him instead. When Tsuyoshi finally leaves, Ainosuke celebrates like he's scored some world-class victory. The man has gotten closer to Tsuyoshi than anyone else and is happy that he got into art school, which is usually considered a terrible choice. Ching seems to be standing right behind and praises his perseverance for going this far. Ching questions if Ainosuke knows about Tsuyoshi's true secret. Ainosuke wonders about her true identity, as Ching is more than what meets the eye. Ching introduces herself as a Chinese exchange student and an employee of the store. However, despite being a regular employee, she sends Ainosuke flying with a punch. Ching attacks him without explanation. Ainosuke barely blocks each attack. Ching ramps up her speed and manages to thrust Ainosuke away. She is about to land a critical strike when Ainosuke grabs her arm and inquires what she's genuinely doing. Ching praises his martial arts ability and states that even with his accomplishments, he won't ever be able to touch Tsuyoshi. Ainosuke wonders if she knows more about Tsuyoshi than others. Ching teases Tsuyoshi's true secret and claims to reveal it if Ainosuke treats her to tea. They sit at a restaurant where Ching orders a ton of food instead of just tea. Ching devours the meal, while Ainosuke comments that Ching's movement resembles Tsuyoshi in some manner. Ching reveals that she is a secret spy of the Chinese Ministry of Martial Arts. Ainosuke finds himself in a chokehold upon hearing those words. Ching explains that Tsuyoshi's strength is beyond reason, as many fighters have been defeated by him. Realizing that the Chinese Ministry of Martial Arts is after him, Ainosuke questions the true identity of Tsuyoshi. Ching explains that they aren't too sure, but one thing is for certain, his fighting ability has attracted the attention of an entire country after him. Ching was in Japan for a year, and in that time, Tsuyoshi defeated nearly 200 people. Ainosuke is shocked because, at that fighting rate, Tsuyoshi faces someone every single day. Ching explains that some fighters even reached Ainosuke's level, and yet they were all defeated, without landing a single attack on Tsuyoshi's body. Ainosuke ponders his true strength, while Ching claims that she dug up something interesting about him. Ching reveals that Tsuyoshi's parents owned a kickboxing gym, but it has no correlation to his strength, because the gym was closed back when Tsuyoshi was only 5 years of age. Tsuyoshi's fighting style doesn't indicate kickboxing at all. Ching claims that Tsuyoshi began to learn a kind of martial art called Tai Kai. Ainosuke is stunned to learn that he has been learning the exact same martial arts as Tsuyoshi. However, Ching emphasizes that the Tai Kai classes Ainosuke has been a part of are literally the extent of Tsuyoshi's training for the week. Ainosuke can't believe that Tsuyoshi trains in such a ridiculous way. He wonders if it's even possible to become as strong as him using the same routine. Ching tells him that Tai Kai is a traditional martial art in China, and while Tsuyoshi has immense power, it's the first time she's ever seen anyone like Tsuyoshi. Ainosuke wonders why Tsuyoshi got to this level. Ching states that Tsuyoshi is a genius in his realm. She keeps ordering more and more food as the conversation goes on. After breaking his wallet, Ainosuke assists a drunk Ching, who invites him to work together. Ching knows that Ainosuke shares the ambition of defeating Tsuyoshi, so she's willing to offer him that deal. The first step is to discover the source of Tsuyoshi's strength in order to defeat him. Ainosuke can't fathom the thought of ever being able to defeat Tsuyoshi. Ching tells him that the government has already sent its forces as support. In fact, Tsuyoshi's convenience store has unexpected visitors. Tsuyoshi sees a bunch of people outside and exits the store to see what it's all about. The 4 Chinese Power Rangers are there to confront one derpy-looking convenience store employee. Ching claims that these fighters are the elite of the elite when it comes to Chinese martial arts. They're known as the Four Fists. They might have varying styles, but they're confirmed to be the strongest fighters in all of China, to the point that she is confident that Tsuyoshi won't be able to defeat them at all. Li Yusheng specializes in Shaolin, Wan Yundao is known as the Steel King, and Yan Lulan is a master of Taiji Chuan. Finally, Lu Jifei is a master of the Baji Chuan. They all share a mixed expression when staring down their opponent. Jifei politely asks Tsuyoshi for a sudden request in battle. Tsuyoshi sighed, realizing that it was the same thing again. He repeats his condition to their faces to make sure that they never bother him again. Ching is annoyed that the Four Fists arrive pretty late, but they've yet to contact her. In reality, they haven't informed Ching, but they're about to face Tsuyoshi in a nearby playground. Sheng Yundao, Lan, and Jifei are ready to face Tsuyoshi as practitioners of Chinese martial arts. Tsuyoshi isn't bothered and reminds them not to have any regrets after this battle, as they won't be getting a second chance. Sheng is offended by this statement, while Jifei thinks of it as a simple provocation. Lan is impressed because he knows that Tsuyoshi is wholly confident in his own abilities. Yundao doesn't care because he just wants to defeat Tsuyoshi no matter what. Sheng wants to be the one going first and even vows to defeat Tsuyoshi in 3 minutes. Tsuyoshi invites the four to fight all at once since he wants to catch all of the smoke. Sheng is even more provoked hearing this, while Tsuyoshi pleads for them to come and fight because his break is being compromised. Sheng thunderously rushes towards him with a kick. Tsuyoshi plainly dodges the attack with ease. Sheng reclaims his position and states that he won't take more than a minute to defeat Tsuyoshi. Sheng attacks Tsuyoshi with a flurry of kicks and tries to catch him off guard with a sweep kick. Tsuyoshi dodges the attack, but it is actually Sheng's intention for him to do so. With Tsuyoshi's position compromised in the air, Sheng lands a brutal kick. However, Tsuyoshi had already parried it before it hit him. Jifei calls Sheng to stop the fight and wants to get down to business because he's intrigued. Jifei challenges Tsuyoshi and introduces his Baji Chuan style. Tsuyoshi doesn't really care about this information. Jifei takes his stance and moves at an incredible speed to attack Tsuyoshi. Jifei manages to catch Tsuyoshi and is surprised by his tackle. However, the attack did nothing more than push him by a few inches. Jifei is impressed by Tsuyoshi's powers, but this has made Yundao pumped for battle. He tells Jifei to move, and even attacks him with a furious punch. Yundao's strength is beyond anything. He intervenes in Jifei's fight and tries to defeat Tsuyoshi. Tsuyoshi uses the same technique as he does with Ainosuke, sending a recoil force that redirects Yundao. The other fighters are shocked. Even Yundao himself can't begin to fathom how his Hunga ability was merely redirected. Lan analyzed the ability to be Hua Jin, an energy neutralization technique. He praises the boy's soft-style internal energy. Lan showcases the beauty of Tai Kai and prepares to fight Tsuyoshi. Before they can throw down, Ching and Ainosuke are seen blabbering about nearby. Ching is literally shocked at what they're doing. This is because their orders were to contact her when they arrived in Japan, instead of targeting Tsuyoshi from the beginning. Ching apologizes to Tsuyoshi, stating that these people are just her friends from China. Ainosuke questions if Tsuyoshi is hurt at all. Instead of talking about the fight, Tsuyoshi asks if Ainosuke spent time with Ching. Ainosuke explained that they had met each other at the store and had left for the restaurant. A devastated Tsuyoshi turns around and requests to be left alone in the moment. Ainosuke noted the expression on his face, the expression of a man wiping away his tears because he thinks his crush just got stolen by another dude. The following day, Ainosuke waits for Tsuyoshi's arrival. He ponders his words while remembering Tsuyoshi's sad expression. Ainosuke doesn't really know what happened. Tsuyoshi finally arrives and greets Ainosuke, thanking him for teaching him how to draw. They enter inside, while Ainosuke decides to use an object for recreation. Ainosuke waits, while Tsuyoshi draws, taking his sweet time. Ainosuke can no longer hold it in, and really wants to ask why he cried. Tsuyoshi asks if something is wrong, because of Ainosuke's concerned face. Ainosuke tells him to keep on going, because he's doing well. Tsuyoshi is happy up until the point Ainosuke receives a text from Ching. Ainosuke tells Tsuyoshi to go ahead, but he receives 10 different text messages from Ching. Tsuyoshi asks if Ching is messaging him. Ainosuke is surprised that he guessed accurately. Tsuyoshi reveals that he heard their conversation the other day, so he basically heard that Ching is a Chinese government agent as well. Ainosuke tries to make an excuse for her, but he's losing his mind because Tsuyoshi busted her secret too. Tsuyoshi, being depressed, states that no girl was ever interested in ever talking to him, so it was his fault for thinking Ching shared a genuine interest. Tsuyoshi went out with Ching, where she disappeared out of nowhere. Instead, all he got was people fighting him instead. Conveniently, when Tsuyoshi defeated those fighters, Ching miraculously returned with the same excuse every time. Tsuyoshi isn't the dense protagonist and knows that the people whom she referred to as her friends from yesterday aren't really her friends at all. He's sad that Ching is the one who used Ainosuke. The poor guy faces depression, knowing that he invested time and energy in someone who didn't care about him. Ainosuke suddenly realizes that Tsuyoshi really likes her. Tsuyoshi confirms that he did, but now he knows that everything up until this point was a setup. He despises the people who don't mean the things that they say. Tsuyoshi's most potent opponent is apparently his depression, as he wants to die now. He has shared the life of facing random fighters day in and out. he had to face them every time. But more people came after him, leaving him with very few people to trust. Tsuyoshi apologizes to Inosuke, stating that he doesn't want to become a fighter, but rather an artist. He questions why he has to fight, even when he has no interest in fighting at all. Inosuke finally understands Tsuyoshi's feelings, and he has to fight without reason each day, because of his strength. Tsuyoshi preserved himself, even with the intention to abstain from fighting. Even after those feelings, Inosuke became someone who challenged him and fought him. Inosuke feels guilty, as if he's betrayed his girlfriend or something. After the conclusion of their art session, Tsuyoshi apologizes for putting him through his misery. Inosuke tells Tsuyoshi to rely on him more often. When Tsuyoshi leaves, Ching calls Inosuke to meet him for a meaningful conversation. Inosuke arrives at the coordinates she told him about. There, he finds Ching with the Four Fists, who happily enjoy their food. Ching tells him that she basically wants her Chinese Power Rangers to fight Chinese Saitama. Inosuke declines, trying to help her and remembering his connection with Tsuyoshi. Inosuke calls himself the partner of Tsuyoshi and challenges the Four Fists to a fight. Inosuke's challenge is that the fighters will have to get past him if they want to truly fight Tsuyoshi. Ching grabs him by the collar and tries to act cocky. The result: Inosuke delivers a sudden gut punch, followed by a brutal kick, cursing Ching and knocking him out at once. Yundao and Jifei are both shocked, while Inosuke claims they're just small fry compared to him. Suddenly, Inosuke is attacked by Jifei and gets knocked on the table. Yundao is about to kill him with a lethal blow, but the Tai Kai master Lan is there to stop him with ease. Lan calls off the fight in the restaurant, while Ching adjusts her plan. She throws in the condition that if Inosuke loses the fight, he will have to forcefully cooperate with them. Inosuke is an idiot, because he actually agrees to this condition. Ching claims that they'll arrange a later date for the actual fight, and he can train up until that point, or even bring his friends along. Inosuke leaves right when Ching wakes up. Ching is furious, because he got attacked right when he wasn't expecting anything. Inosuke is still bothered by what happened because, at that moment, Lan basically saved his life. Inosuke no longer underestimates them, and questions if he can defeat them all with just their own strength. Suddenly, his 50 IQ brain comes up with an idea. Inosuke shows up at Teru's apartment. The Discord mod Physique Teru is apparently his only option. Inosuke begs for a favor, even when Teru shouts at him. Inosuke asks for his help in fighting Chinese martial artists. Teru declines, but it's not like he has a choice. A bloodthirsty Ching kicks down their apartment door because he's in the mood to kill Inosuke. He cusses out the karate master and attacks Inosuke with a strong kick. Teru's apartment is literally destroyed, while Ching is unleashing his rage. Teru tells them to stop fighting and take their matter elsewhere. He didn't want to fight anyone at first, but Ching called him a fatty, so Teru was in a particular mood to beat him up for it. Arriving outside, the fatty locks eyes with the kid who has anger issues. Teru wants to teach him manners, while Ching thinks it'll be the easiest fight of his life. Inosuke apologizes to Teru and reminds him that he's up against a Chinese martial artist. Instead of heeding his warning, Teru is angry and blames Inosuke for ruining his entire apartment. Ching calls him a fatty again, prompting Teru to deliver a powerful kick. Teru attacks him with a barrage of punches and actually surprises Ching quite a bit with his impressive speed. Even Inosuke is impressed because he remembers Teru's fighting ability being similar to his prime. Or that is what he thought, because this guy can't catch his breath when the fight has only just begun. Teru's on the brink of death, while Ching considers the fight a joke and attacks him. Teru is treated like a punching bag for Ching, who knocks him away. The story dives into Cheng's past, who was shunned as a dark child with no family records. Cheng had to face everyone's hatred and hate for his own life. Cheng vowed to become the strongest of his temple just to prove that he, too, exists in this world. The Shaolin prodigy delivers a quaking thrust, knocking Teru away. However, for some reason, Teru is still back on his feet without fail. Teru provokes Cheng, making him even more infuriated than before. Cheng orders Teru to attack him with everything he's got, and that he won't even move an inch. Teru takes him up on the challenge, and charges a powerful fist right in his face. Cheng ate the punch head on and, in that moment, punctured Teru's abdomen. The Dark Child corrects Teru, stating that he's the one who underestimated his opponent. Teru falls to his knees as blood pours out of his body. Cheng had uncovered a dark path for himself because of the parents who abandoned him and the people who rejected him at the temple. Cheng was willing to do anything it took to kill anyone who even bothered him. There had come a point where he defeated everyone in the temple, remaining the strongest of them all. Cheng orders Teru to beg for his life if he wants to live beyond this point. Ainosuke notes Sheng's bloody thumb and wonders what happened. It's the same as his arm, meaning Sheng has trained his thumb beyond limits in his training. Ainosuke tries to help Teru, but gets backhanded in the face by his own friend. Teru, instead of falling into despair, is adamant about killing Sheng. Sheng is baffled that his attitude is still running around even in this situation. Teru gets up and attacks Sheng, only to get punched right in the gut. Sheng is launched away with a kick, causing Teru's injuries to worsen. Sheng hammers Teru with a barrage of attacks. Teru reflects that his opponent's attacks are more powerful than anything, and even after his tight situation, he doesn't seem to feel fear at all. That is when he remembers the shadow of the man, who indeed defeated him and broke Teru. Ainosuke notices that Teru has begun dodging the attacks, instead of blocking him. Teru remembers the exact face of the man, who was prepared to kill him in a single attack. Sheng lunges forth with a kick, but Teru is out of sight. Teru appears from behind, and strikes Sheng from his blind spot. Even though Sheng blocked the attack, Ainosuke was shocked that Teru had surpassed Sheng in speed for a moment. Teru knows that even with Sheng's strength, he doesn't match Tsuyoshi's indomitable power. Sheng can't believe that this fatty is still capable of fighting. Teru invites the Shaolin Master to taste the second strongest fit in all of Japan. Sheng's battle against Teru reaches its climax, as the fighters stand even with each other. Teru is capable of going head-to-head against the Shaolin Master, countering each of Sheng's moves despite his body. Ainosuke ponders if Teru's speed has always been this fast. With that much speed added to his weight, each of Teru's punches are like missiles that are knocking Sheng's world. A resilient Sheng refuses to lose the fight and counters Teru with a two-step combo. Sheng's kick actually catches Teru off guard. Ainosuke is baffled to note that Sheng is unaffected by Teru's strong punches. Both of them are obsessed with winning as they attack each other relentlessly. Even when the two of them are at their limits, both Teru and Sheng unleash a final attack, hitting each other so hard that they're both knocked out. Teru compliments Sheng's fighting ability, who returns the same to him. Sheng's respect for Teru grows as he vows to remember Teru's name. The both of them become good friends because, after hours of fighting, this is how random dudes become the best of homies. Teru wants to go to the hospital for his injuries. Sheng wishes to do the same, because he's endured a few broken bones of his own. Ainosuke wants to join them, but Teru is so mad and has yet to forgive Ainosuke. It seems that they've found a common enemy in Ainosuke and become friends with each other, leaving the poor guy shaken. The following day, Ching tries to establish a connection with Tsuyoshi, who is cold and ruthless and turns her down. Ching asks if Tsuyoshi is alright and even compliments his drawings. Tsuyoshi begs to be left alone, shocking the girl. In a state of confusion, Ching seeks out Ainosuke's help. Ching shares that Tsuyoshi no longer wants to talk to her. Since she is an agent of the Ministry of Martial Arts, she has done so much to get closer to Tsuyoshi. Ainosuke reveals that Tsuyoshi found out about Ching's connection to the Chinese government. Ching finds it impossible for him to discover that on his own. Ainosuke reminds her that she was loud as hell when she was drunk and spilled the beans herself. Ching realizes that she is the one who flunked her own plan. Ainosuke reveals that Tsuyoshi actually liked Ching, which is why he acted so strangely. Ching faces extreme guilt for treating him in such a way. Ainosuke inquires about the intentions of the Chinese Ministry of the Martial Arts. Ching explains that the institution regulates all martial arts in China, which makes Ainosuke wonder about their purpose in Japan. Ching shows Ainosuke a clip of a Chinese martial artist getting his daylights rocked by an MMA guy. After that, the internet decided to treat Chinese martial arts as a joke. As a consequence, the government is looking to remedy this situation and restore the honor of martial arts. That is why Ching and the others have been dispatched to Japan. Ching throws a tantrum because she gets butthurt about being insulted easily. Ainosuke is a chill and relaxed dude who doesn't see why anyone would be upset. After Ching slaps his face off, Ching claims that the insult is personal to them, as if it were Ainosuke if someone made a joke about karate. Ching wants the world to know that Chinese martial arts are actually pretty strong, while MMA is a fighting style that has popped out of nowhere recently. Ainosuke doesn't understand why any of this has anything to do with him. Ching knocks his face for talking too much, being the confusing woman that she is. Ching blames Ainosuke for ruining everything and making Tsuyoshi hate her. She keeps attacking Ainosuke until he reaches his limit and tells her to stop. Ainosuke invites Ching to Tsuyoshi's drawing lesson to correct her mistake. The scene switches to Tsuyoshi, who is currently being bullied by his friends for no longer being obsessed with Ching. Tsuyoshi acts like it's a misunderstanding of some kind, But Satu and Tanaka continue to tease him further, annoying him. Suddenly, the bell rings, and the visitors are 3 of the 4 fists. Jifei tells Tsuyoshi that he is impressed by his ability and wants to fight him again. Tsuyoshi knocks the door shut without sharing another word. Tanaka and Satu are curious as to who came to the door. Tsuyoshi told them that they were just a bunch of random people. Jifei popped his head from the window and begged Tsuyoshi to listen to them. Tsuyoshi begs him to stop bothering them, but Jifei doesn't want to leave his fight without a conclusion. Tanaka and Satu make fun of Tsuyoshi for being an unfriendly dude sometimes. Tsuyoshi tells them that he's a pacifist and he's going to talk to them outside. Tsuyoshi arrives outside and requests the nuisance group to leave. Jifei begs for another chance, but before he can finish, Tsuyoshi warns him with a deadly glare that he's ready to leave a body dead if it could make them shut up. Intimidated, Jifei backs off, sensing extreme bloodlust from Tsuyoshi. He's cautious enough to acknowledge that Tsuyoshi would quickly kill him on the spot if he let his guard drop for even a second. Tsuyoshi states his disinterest regarding their purpose, and the only thing he wants is that they never interfere in his life. Tsuyoshi emphasizes that he will no longer hold back in his fighting ability, so they should be prepared for the beating of their lives. Yundao is glad that Tsuyoshi is treating them seriously for once. He wanted this outcome from the start. Instead of being afraid, he wants to take Tsuyoshi on at full strength. Yundao had already received more information about Tsuyoshi, and this time, he was confident of a way to defeat him. Yundao takes his position and is prepared to fight. The battle begins with Yundao speedily attacking Tsuyoshi. Tsuyoshi teleports behind with his speed and redirects the attack. Jifei is shocked that he was able to manipulate Yundao's body against him. Tsuyoshi lands his signature generation-ending attack. However, something is different. A smirk appears on Yundao's face as he remains unaffected and throws a fist towards Tsuyoshi. The story dives into Yundao's past and how, every day, he was hid in his privates by his master, who was obsessed with training every part of the human body. Yundao was chained up and had his eggs broken with a hammer. He had to endure the worst of pain because of his controlling master. Yundao's master wanted him to learn how to develop a strong qigong. Yundao had no choice but to adapt. Finally, Yundao faced his one and final test. A pike that would impale his entire body was struck at full speed at the man's jewels. He faced immense pain until he realized that he couldn't feel anything down there anymore. Yundao had achieved a hard qigong. Tsuyoshi lands a second strike on the same part of his body, but this man is immune to such attacks. Yundao claims that he trained so hard that his balls disappeared. The man standing before Tsuyoshi no longer has any balls or the prospects of a future generation. Tsuyoshi straight up calls him an idiot for sacrificing so much. Yundao states that one has to sacrifice something in order to gain something else. He was able to achieve his qigong because of the training. Jifei can't even fathom how he accepted the thought of losing something so precious. Lon adds that the removal of his jewels should naturally hinder his muscle development. The fact that Yundao maintained this level of body means he trained like hell for it. Yundao charges forward to attack Tsuyoshi, thinking that he'll win. Tsuyoshi counters with a punch to his core. Yundao is amazed that Tsuyoshi bothered attacking him in a different location, especially after finding out about his previous attempt. However, nothing will work because Yundao is specifically trained to eliminate all weak parts of his body. In short, his body is an impenetrable wall that blocks each and every attack. Yundao punches Tsuyoshi, who releases a palm strike combo, sending Yundao to the nearest wall with a kick. That's not all. Tsuyoshi proceeds to break Yundao's clavicles with his precise punches. Yundao has lost the ability to even function with his arms. He can no longer do anything except stand. Ainasuke and Ching bear witness to the 100 punches Tsuyoshi delivers all throughout Yundao's body. With every blow, Yundao's body weakens until, eventually, he loses consciousness. Tsuyoshi is about to give a final blow, but Ainasuke grabs his punch before he can. A frustrated Tsuyoshi refuses to elaborate and no longer wants to entertain the gimmicks of other people. The dude has stopped playing around and decided to throw their hands full force. Tsuyoshi emphasizes that the people who sacrifice things without thinking much are the type of people he absolutely hates. Tsuyoshi inquires about what Ching is doing. Ching apologizes to Tsuyoshi but gets ignored. Instead, the man is eager to fight his next opponent. Lan, the Tai Kai master, wants to step up as his opponent. Lan is especially interested in facing Tsuyoshi since both of them share an identical fighting style to each other. Lan strikes a stance and asks if Tsuyoshi knows what it means. Tsuyoshi does the same and reaches an identical position. Ainasuke wonders what's happening. Ching explains that they engage in fighting by joining each other's hands. The fighting style is relatively simple, but it is used to measure another's ability. Right now, the two of them are fighting each other with immense ki. Lon steps forward and breaches Tsuyoshi's space, but Tsuyoshi calmly deflects the attack instead. Tsuyoshi counters in his own manner. Their smooth movements transition into a barrage of attacks that produce no sound. Ching explains that they're exercising the basis of Tai Kai called Hua-Jin. Tsuyoshi is capable of sending Lon away with a punch. Ching summarizes that Tsuyoshi used Fa-Jin to redirect his opponent's energy into working against them. Ainosuke realizes that this is the same movement he used in their first match. Ainosuke wants to learn this technique, but Ching doesn't want to entertain him at all. Jifei pulls up like a true homie and explains that one has to train their Nigong to be able to use ki instead of muscles. Jifei commends Ainosuke for being able to defeat Ching the other day. Jifei insults Japan for being a dump, but he is impressed by Ainosuke and Teru's powers. Ainosuke is provoked by his words, but their attention turns to the actual fight going on behind. Tsuyoshi and Lon are countering each other in an endless dance that goes on forever. After a beautiful or somewhat wiggly exchange of movements, both Tsuyoshi and Lon pause as they break away from each other. Lon questions the boy's age and readily admits his defeat after learning of the answer. Jifei is shocked because he doesn't understand the reason behind his actions. The Tai Kai master explains that it takes an endless amount of time to train one's Nigong. He's nearly double Tsuyoshi's age and has spent his entire life training martial arts. It's safe to say that he hasn't seen anyone develop an indestructible Nigong at an age like that. Lon reveals that Tsuyoshi's strength is rooted in more aspects than just Tai Kai. Lon believes that Tsuyoshi has acquired more battle experience than anyone else. However, Lon wonders if Jifei can be the one to overcome and bridge this gap, since he is considered the reincarnation of Li Shuwen with his Baji Chuan. They hype him up so much, but Ainosuke has no idea who Li Shuwen is. Ching explains that he was regarded as the strongest Chinese martial artist and became one of the most famous people ever. He's the founder of the 8 Extremities Fist and defeated an innumerable number of martial artists with his fists. Lon adds that Chinese martial arts differ from others since they were studied for the purpose of actual combat, where one has to fight until one's last breath. Jifei is different from other people. He's one of the few martial artists who mastered Baji Chuan and prepared for actual combat. Ainosuke questions if the Chinese are still at each other's throats even to this day. Ching confirms that there was a war over 30 years back. In that war, a young Jifei was prepared to alter the course of history for his people. Jifei fought dozens of soldiers, making them wonder if he was some kind of monster. It's hilarious how they had to use a tank to take out one guy. Jifei's men were heavily compromised because of the enemy's weapons. Witnessing the horror that lay before him, Jifei couldn't fathom that those tanks were being used against their own civilians. He channeled his hatred as motivation and started beating the crap out of the soldiers. Jifei's Baji Chuan remained unparalleled in that battle, a martial art that he had practiced since his childhood. Jifei survived the worst against the wrath of the government, only to end up working for it instead. Jifei claims that he was once called Li Shuwen, but it's nothing more than a rumor. However, his fighting is where he won't be holding back, even the slightest, in order to defeat Tsuyoshi. Tanaka and Satu wonder what's taking Tsuyoshi way too long. They don't know this dude has already defeated 2 of the strongest fighters in China. Jifei is hailed as one of the strongest fighters before Lon's eyes. He contains a power unlike any other. Lon is unsure who is going to become the victor of this battle. Ching shares the same opinion and thinks that this battle will literally alter the history of Chinese martial arts forever. Tsuyoshi argues that he doesn't really care about Li Shuwen and reminds Jifei that he won't get a second chance at fighting if he loses this battle. The fighters gear up into position when Ainosuke grabs a stone and hurls it full force towards Jifei. Jifei dodges the stone at the last second as it shatters the nearby wall. Jifei turns to question Ainosuke's intentions, but nearly gets his eyes poked out by a dirty tactic. Jifei asks about the purpose behind Ainosuke's involvement. Ainosuke turns to Tsuyoshi and tells him that he doesn't have to worry about getting into a fight with Jifei. Instead, he challenges Jifei himself as a condition for beating Tsuyoshi. Ainosuke doesn't think much of the dirty move, so he pulls up his sleeve, because Jifei is used to dirty tactics deployed in the war. Ainosuke doesn't care about the kind of attacks Jifei will use against him, since he fully believes karate is way stronger than anything. Jifei accepts his challenge, knowing that he's about to prepare for Ainosuke's funeral. The story dives into Ainosuke's past, who was born into an aristocratic family with connections to the government. Ainasuki is revealed to be their illegitimate child.